Hi everyone, it's Nikki Lake, and today I want to talk about why the YouTuber Briana Monique was not at fault for making the statement that she did about her natural hair texture. So, for those of you who don't know, Briana Monique made a video a couple years ago talking about how her mom told her that she should be blessed that she has her hair type and how she shouldn't complain about the ease of its manageability. So I know I'm late to the party and joining this discussion because, again, this video was a couple years old, but I was listening to different types of commentary and just trying to get an idea of what other people were saying about it. And I feel like my opinion on it slightly differs from what I've heard other people say. And then again, I have not listened to every single YouTube video discussing this topic, so maybe I might have missed someone who had similar ideas as me. But from what I was listening to, none of them really came up with the same conclusion that I did as to why Briana said what she said. So the gist of Briana's video was that, again, her mother was telling her daughter that her hair is so beautiful and you are so blessed to have your hair texture. Meanwhile, her mom was constantly big chopping because her hair was just too much to deal with. It wasn't as easy to manage as her daughter's hair. So in turn, she was kind of projecting her insecurities onto her daughter in a way. So that's why Briana is feeling the way that she does about her hair, is because her mom instilled it within her that her hair texture is better than women with type 4 hair. So I want to give my own personal account about repeating what my mom has told me before. So you know how when you tell a child something, they will typically repeat it to somebody else if you're not careful, right? Because kids are like sponges. They're soaking up what you're telling them. And if you're not careful with what you say, they can repeat it to someone else. So again, this has happened to me personally when I was a child. So I used to get relaxers at a very young age. I'd say like around 2 or 3 years old. But I can vividly remember to when I was 3 years old and when my mom would always relax my hair at that age. So back then you had the Just For Me relaxer kits. I think they still have it around if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really been in a beauty supply store in quite some time, so I don't know if it's still around. But back then Just For Me was huge for little girls. So I used to hate the process for getting relaxers. I mean, at the time I didn't know what it was because I was so young. I just remember it being super uncomfortable. It was like this very severe burning sensation. So I used to always feel like nervous or anxious whenever I saw the little box that my mom would get. And I would see my mom relax her hair first, and then I had this like deep sinking sensation in my stomach because I knew it was going to be my turn to get my hair relaxed next. So she would always relax my hair, and I never got to see my natural hair when I was younger. And like I never remember seeing my hair like long or anything like that. It was constantly in this little struggle bun at the top of my head. And I never had the cute little barrette styles where girls would wear their hair down and have the cute little bows and barrettes and stuff. So it was just constantly in this little top knot bun. And I remember for picture day in kindergarten that I wanted to wear my hair down. And my mom had it up in the little top knot bun, but I decided to unravel the bun at the top and kind of just let my hair hang down a little bit. And it was still a struggle bun. Like it was still horrid. You know, I still have my yearbook picture from when I was 5 years old. But my mom was so pissed that I altered my hair because she had it a certain way and I changed it behind her back. So she was super pissed about that, I remember. But I just wanted to see what my hair looked like in a different style. Like I was just tired of seeing it in the little top bun. And I remember later on in elementary school, I think I was like 10 and in fifth grade. I had a classmate ask me, why don't I ever wear my hair down? And she was a young white girl, but I remember her asking me, she was like,
Hey, why don't you ever wear your hair down? I want to see your hair.
and I had never been asked that question. So I was kind of taken aback. But then I remembered what my mom had told me and I repeated it back to her. So I said,
My mom said only white girls wear their hair down.
and her mouth just dropped. Like she looked so surprised when I said that. I remember the look on her face. So she was like,
That's not right. You shouldn't say that.
And I was like,
Well, that's what my mom told me.
so again, when you're younger, you're going to repeat what your parents tell you because, you know, they're your parents. So you respect them and you feel that they are the authority on the subject. So whatever they say, it must be law, it must be correct. So when I told my classmate that, I wasn't thinking that there was anything wrong with what I had just said. It was just something that was instilled within me. And I told her what my mom told me. You know, I'm just letting her know, hey, this is how it goes in my household. I don't know about yours, but in my household, only white girls wear their hair down. So she was just really surprised at that. And yeah, she didn't take it too well. She didn't take it too well at all. But living under my parents' roof, I did not have much jurisdiction over my hair. Anytime that it was time to go to church, anytime I had to get ready for school, my mom was the one who was in charge of my hair. And 9 times out of 10, it was in a struggle top knot bun. I never had it down. And thinking back, it probably wouldn't have looked good down anyway because it was a broken, scraggly mess. It was overly processed from the relaxers because my mom didn't believe in just touching up the roots. She would do the entire strand, you know, so she was very uneducated about how to relax hair. But my hair was just struggling to grow. It was constantly brittle and breaking. So looking back, it wouldn't have worked out anyway to wear my hair down because the curls were just totally non-existent. So I had did my first big chop, and I don't call it an official big chop because I was still under my parents' roof. So I did my first big chop back in, well, I don't even remember what year it was, but I know I was like 16 or 17. And I was just curious to see what my hair texture was because the natural hair community had began around this time. And there were these little forums and groups on the internet that you could join and discuss different hair products and techniques and stuff like that. So when I came across these forums, I was like, wow, I didn't even know there was such thing called natural hair. So let me do my big chop and see, you know, what I'm working with, right? So when I did my big chop in my bedroom all by myself in front of my little mirror, my mom was so livid. She was so livid. And that big chop only lasted a week before she was like, come here, you getting this perm. She would call it perms. She's like, no, you can't be walking around like that. You're getting this perm. I never got to see my natural hair. And she thought that putting a relaxer in my hair at such a young age was going to provide some manageability for her to do my hair. And I guess it did for her as a mom. You know, you might be short on time and whatnot. But relaxers are really dangerous, especially on children's scalps when, you know, your scalp is still developing and your hair texture is still developing and things like that. Even kitty perms have the lye in it, or they call it no lye, but there's still hidden chemicals within relaxers. It's all the same. So looking back, I wish I had never got a relaxer, but again, that wasn't up to me. But when I did finally move out in my early 20s, I did my official big chop in 2011. And at that time, I knew that I was on my own. I didn't have to worry about my mom telling me that I need a relaxer. I need to get something done to my hair, you know. So I thought that something was wrong with my hair all the way up until I did my official big chop in 2011. But when you're young and you're getting relaxers, you're going to think that something is wrong with your hair. Because it's like, why do we have to do this process every so often? What is the purpose of this? Something must be wrong with my hair. And of course, this idea would be internalized in my mind because, again, the statement that only white girls wear their hair down was already putting this idea out there that I didn't have the right hair texture to wear it down or to wear it out even. If I had not done my big chop back in 2011, I probably still would have been relaxed because if I were to allow my mom's ideals to get to me, who knows where I would be in my hair journey right now, honestly. So you kind of have to grow up out of it at some point and just tell yourself, you know what? My parents aren't always right all the time. You know, when you grow up, you have your own identity, you have your own ideals and morals. So it's like, nothing was ever wrong with my hair. You know, I'm able to manage my hair. I'm able to style it into the way that I want it to be, you know? So during my official big chop, I kind of fell in love with my hair. I fell in love with my texture, and I didn't have any like good hair, bad hair connotation added to it. It was just my hair. It was just me naturally, and it sucks that I didn't get to learn my natural hair until later in life. But you know, it is what it is. We move. So in Briana Monique's case, her mom was just projecting her insecurities onto her daughter and putting her daughter's hair texture on a pedestal at the same time. In my opinion, when you're a mother, you have a major and crucial role in determining how your daughter's self confidence is going to be nurtured. So, if your daughter is young and you're starting to put relaxers in her hair at a young age and telling her that her hair is nappy, she needs this perm, you know, and all those things. If you're telling your daughter that, what do you think could happen as she gets older? She's going to think that she's ugly without relaxers, she's ugly without wigs, she's ugly without some type of, you know, chemical alteration of her hair. But if you tell your daughter at a young age that her hair is beautiful, there's nothing wrong with her hair, she's beautifully and wonderfully made, you know, and things like that, then she will grow up having a higher probability of having a sense of self esteem and self assurance. She's not going to grow up feeling like something was ever wrong with her and that something was ever wrong with her hair. Now, you do have the societal standards out there that may try to, you know, trickle in and infiltrate the child's mind and things like that, because I remember when I was younger, you would always see the long flowy haired commercials and things like that. So that's another thing to take into account is the media and how beauty is portrayed. But again, if you're telling your daughter that your hair is beautiful, you're perfect just the way you are, and then she does see these images, then again, she may have a higher probability to still keep that sense of self-worth and that sense of self-confidence, and that she should be happy to look the way that she does, and you know, to be proud of her hair texture and stuff like that, you know. But with Brianna's mom, the mistake that she made was complimenting her daughter's hair at the demise of her hair texture. So when you say your hair is so beautiful, you're so lucky you don't have to deal with my type of hair, that's when you go wrong, because now your child is going to be, how can I say this? Your child is going to have an inflated ego and believe that their hair texture is better than people with the same hair texture as yours, as their mother. So you're basically, you know, putting her hair texture in this hierarchical, you know, type of category, and you're telling her to shit on other women who have type 4 hair, because that's essentially the message that's being conveyed. But if her mom were to just be like, you have such beautiful hair, you're gorgeous, and left it at that, that would have been perfectly fine. This may not have even been a conversation. You know what I mean? But to go on and say, I'm shaving my hair off because I don't have hair like yours, that's, you know, that can really make things a little bit more complex. You know what I mean? So that's why Brianna's statement that she made in her video is coming off as controversial, is because of the way that it was conveyed. You know, because it came across as very haughty and proud and, you know, boastful. So a lot of people took it the wrong way because, again, her mother had placed that idea in her mind that my hair is better than type 4 hair. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not faulting Briana for that because she's only repeating what her mother told her. And I don't know how long Brianna's mother has been telling her that. You know, it could have been at such a young age, since she was like 5 or something, saying, your hair's so beautiful, your hair's better than the other girls at school. We don't know how long that this idea has been perpetuated to Briana. But either way, I feel like also as you get older, like I said, you kind of form your own identity, and you should understand right from wrong. You could combat that by saying, you know, no, mom, your hair is beautiful as it is, and you know, you should appreciate your hair texture. There's nothing wrong with your hair. And you know, I'm not trying to like, let's see, what's the word? You know how someone is insecure, like if they're not feeling good about themselves, there's really nothing that you can do or say to make them feel better. It has to be them doing some type of self-reflection. So even if Briana were to tell her mom, like, you know, your hair is so beautiful, you know, and such, her mom may not even believe it because she's internalized this idea for however long period of time. So she would need to dig deep and look within herself and ask herself, why am I feeling this type of way about my hair texture? So I'm not really saying that it's, the daughter's job to also instill confidence into the mother, because it all starts within yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like it's not Brianna's fault though at the end of the day, because we tend to repeat what our parents say. Like I said, when you're younger, you repeat what your parents say, and some of us hold on to those ideas even when we get older. But then others of us, we kind of, like I said, form our own opinions about ourselves and about the world. So we have a different perception of things than our parents. And that's normal too. That's called growth. You want to grow into your own person and be your own self with your own opinions, morals, and values. That's totally fine as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. And I feel like I said, people need to do some self-reflection. Stop speaking negativity into your natural hair, because it is the hair that you were born with and have been given. So you should embrace it no matter what texture it is. You shouldn't sit here wishing that you had another person's hair on top of your head. And that's why we have weave and things like that, but another video for another day. But we should start speaking positive energy into our hair so that eventually you can see it. You can see it for the beauty that it does have. You won't see it as something that's hard to manage or hard to deal with. You'll kind of fall in love with it and start taking care of it. And then eventually, of course, it's going to grow and it's going to be healthy. That's just how nature works. But yeah, I will go ahead and end this video here. I will talk to you in the next one.